Hello, in this video we'll go through the basics of production. First, let's plan a batch. There's a blue play button here that starts the first step of a multi-step process. So this is our wizard. First we'll select a beer. I'll select Tex because I'm from Texas. So we'll click Start. And these are all of our tanks. Here's today's date in red. When I click Today, this slides over to the left and I can see the next 30 days. I can also see each tank number and its volume, so I can see which tanks are available. And let's do 17. I'll click Select. We can set the start date and it tells us our fermentation days. We'll click Next and we'll go to Set Volume. Our tank capacity is 30 barrels, but we don't have to brew the whole tank. We could say we want the input volume to be 20 and we'll figure out the output volume. Or we can enter the desired output volume and it will tell us our input. So let's refresh here and just do a whole tank. Click Next. Next we set the batch number. Beer Run gives us the next available batch number, or we can choose from these deleted batches. And click Next. Since we have a 15-barrel brew house, but our tank is 30 barrels, it splits it into 2 sub-batches automatically. Now if we decide we want to go 3 batches, click the Tab key, 10. This Add One Batch button appears, and we can fill that out. Or we can split batches with a maximum number first, but we'll just split the batches evenly. And click Next. This screen asks you if you want to condition in a separate tank or several separate tanks. We'll click Next and this will finish. This creates the batch order, the batch split, inventory slip, ingredient forecast, brew status, tanks, and our brew calendar. Now here we can see that we have 27 barrels planned, and when we go to View Brew Status, there's our batch in tank 17. Input and output are Texas Super. The batch cost, conditioning tank, output, brew date, and where it is in production. We can edit any of these since it's not started brewing yet. We can change the tank, the output beer, or the brew date, and click Save. So let's go view a document. Here, View Documents, Batch Order. We'll click View. And this is the batch plan, when it was created and by whom, the number, the tank, input, brew date, filter date, the beer, yield, output, and the cost. Next we can see the inventory slip. You'll see it's in both sub-batches. So you can click View and see the quantity needed, the cost, and the extended cost. You can also go to the inventory forecast and view any of the ingredients or pick week 1. Week 1 is today through 7 days from now. And you can see this is what we have forecasted. Click View and you'll see which batch it's in, what beer, tank, and how much you're using. You can always search for an item across any date range. You can also view the brew schedule, and this shows the one we just did. This will let your team know what batches will start brewing today, and you've built this schedule automatically from the brew plan. Let's look at next week. Here's when we go to conditioning, and here's when we transfer. So let's go to the next stage of producing, which is brew. Here are both our sub batches. When I click Start, it asks for the actual start date and the flow meter reading. Click OK. Here's where the brewmaster can come and see the actual ingredients by batch, and click Process. And here they can change anything they want, or delete an item, or add an ingredient. Click Next to show the costs, and then Save, or you can save and apply to other brews in the same batch. And this shows a new inventory slip with the actual quantity used, and the cost and the extended cost. So let's go back to brew. If you notice here, in the next step in condition, our beer isn't here because it needs both sub batches to be able to start. So we'll come back to brew, click Start, date, flow meter reading, click OK. Then when we come to condition, we'll see it. Batch number, final batch number is the batch number, a dash, and the beer. Which tank, input and output beer, conditioning tank, flow meter 1 volume and flow meter 2 volume, and the conditioning start date. So let's go to View, B Status, and you can see that our beer is in fermentation. So we'll come back to Produce Condition. We can click Start, and it's removed from this list. But you can see it started the conditioning process here. So we can go to Produce, Transfer, and here it is. And it can sit here on this page until we decide that we're going to put it in the bright tank for packaging. So let's click Start. You can choose a transfer date or the flow meter 2 reading that you send to your bright tank. Click OK. And it's removed from this list and sent to Package, Packet. Now when you click Process, it will show you all of the packaging materials available to this product. And here's where we type in how much we want packaged of each of these. You can also write off the batch at this time. This is the only place you're able to do that because the ingredients have already been consumed, and instead of using this batch, you're pouring it down the drain. Whenever you click Write Off, it warns you. You can cancel and start over. So we'll click Process and add 100 there. Click Tab, and you can see that the buttons have changed. We can either save and hold. We can save and come back and package later on, tomorrow, next week, or save and finish. But if we save and finish now, we'll have to destroy 17 barrels. So let's save and hold. And now we can see that we have 17 barrels left to pack. We can click View and see what we've packed already. So let's go back and process and change this pack date to December 1st. And it does the math here automatically for you. We have 0.74 left. Now we can save and finish. So when I click Save and Finish, Beer Run converted that into finished goods inventory. When we click History and View, we'll see what was packaged. There's one on the 1st and one on the 30th. Here we can edit and decant, or we can restore and start completely over. Next, let's go to Inventory, Finished Goods Quantity, and we'll see what we packaged, when we packed it, now let's go to the production report. And each line has a beer. See the brew date and the transfer date and the packaging. I can see the packaging details here. For this batch. Now let's take a look at costing. This is our most recent batch. This is the total cost, how much was packed, and this gives us a cost per barrel. When I come to finished goods, we can see all the finished goods that we've made. The cost per barrel stays consistent. Here's the volume per barrel, the liquid beer cost, the packaging cost, overhead cost, and this gives us the cost per pack. You can also run an ingredient report for whatever date range you want to see these costs. Packaging, select a date range, shows you the packaging consumed, and all of these costs are in the main packaging list. And here is the bill of materials for each packaging item. See everything involved, its cost and its total cost. You can also see a graph of all the beers that have been produced and a production per month for all of your beers. So that is beginning to end of a basic production. Thanks.